Shalom. First, giving all acknowledgement to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors to my teachers who I learned this truth from, starting with, beginning at the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Alright. Sincere salutations to all the real men of the Lord, pushing this truth throughout the four corners of the earth, risking their lives, health, and freedoms to do so. Alright. Just a short video, came across this article. It says, Professor, why Americans should adopt Sweden's COVID-19 model. Alright. Pretty much you don't hear much about, Sweden, as other places around the world, like here in America and other places. A lot of people are, talking about basically being like Sweden. And why is that? Because that's definitely not a coincidence. All right. Let me just read some of this article and get to the point. It says, technocrat-inspired mandates for lockdowns, social distancing, and face masks are all being proven not only useless for stopping COVID-19, but demonstrably harmful in the number of deaths produced. They will never be held accountable. All right, and it says Figure 1 illustrates the daily mortality attributed to COVID-19 in Sweden, New York, Illinois, and Texas. The figure plots the daily number of deaths per million population. This figure illustrates the rise and fall of deaths from COVID-19 in 4 different policy environments. The data were obtained from World-Meter. Let me just jump down. It says, well, if you look at the look at the chart, when you read down, it says Sweden, which are the blue dots, has served as a control group to compare policies intended to decrease deaths from COVID-19. Sweden has been unfairly criticized for its policy despite having an outcome more favorable than places with authoritarian lockdown policies. Sweden did not close the schools, other than stopping gatherings of more than 50 people. The Swedish government left decisions of closing businesses, using masks, and social distancing to the Swedish people. The government encouraged the use of masks and social distancing, but there were no requirements, and there were no penalties for those who declined to follow the advice. Mortality attributed to COVID-19 hit a peak value of 11.38 deaths per day per million population on April 8, 2020. This mortality was watched on April 15th, and mortality has been decreased since then. Daily mortality has been less than 1 death per day per million population for the previous 18 days. Cases are very low. For all practical purposes, the COVID-19 epidemic is over in Sweden. Almost certainly, herd immunity has been achieved in Sweden. Irrespective of any antibody test results, testing is usually only for IgG antibody, and the herd can become immune via IgA antibody or cellular mechanisms that were not detected by the usual testing. Whether COVID-19 will reappear this fall or winter remains to be seen. But nevertheless, pretty much all in all, Sweden is doing much better than a lot of places around the world. All right. They even said here in this article, face mask and all that nonsense is useless. It doesn't really, hasn't been, doing it over there. But a lot of places are trying to adapt what Sweden's doing. Pretty much trying to mimic what they got going on, and trying to study their system over there and whatnot. And again, why is that? Well, because um, um, where it says um, because it mentioned something that caught my eye, caught my attention. So it says that the herd immunity. Where's it at? I'm looking for it. For all practical purposes, the COVID-19 epidemic is over in Sweden. Almost certainly, herd immunity has been achieved in Sweden. So you see, um, pretty much, basically, Sweden, they're almost if they're not already, they're pretty much a cashless society, and they've already adopted the mark of the beast. They already have the chip over there. All right. So that's why a lot of there's a lot of talk about mimicking Sweden's pretty much everything that they're doing. A lot of these different countries, they want to you know pick up and mimic what they're doing. But again, you don't hear much about Sweden because they already have the mark of the beast. All right. And I don't know if I have another article. It goes into what they got going on over there. This is from Euro Weekly. I don't know how old this is, but Euro Weekly, it says Swedes get futuristic high-tech implants in their hands to replace cash and credit cards, eliminating coronavirus contact. So you see, because if you just go on YouTube, over there, this is something that they've been had the system in play, but even now more so ever, because of this coronavirus pandemic, eliminating contact. Like I said, if they're not already, they're aiming for a completely cashless and contactless society. If they're not already, so this is why, because this is the goal of the elites to pretty much chip everyone. And again, over there in Sweden, they already adopted this system of microchipping, implanting everyone with microchips. All right, so I'm just getting into some of this precept. I'm gonna get into some of the article. I'm gonna, of course, get the precept. It says people in Sweden are having high-tech, futuristic microchips implanted into their skin to help them carry out everyday activities and replace credit cards and cash. More than 4,000 people have already had the high-tech chips in the size of a grain of rice inserted into their hands, with the pioneers predicting millions will soon join them as they hope to take it global. So you see, this is the ultimate plans of the elite. They want to make this global. All right, and this um, pandemic is not more than a pretty much the scapegoat to for the elites to fulfill their belly. All right, and chipping everyone. Their goal is to chip everyone, every individual on the face of the planet. All right. It says using the implants makes cash and credit cards redundant and massively reduces the risk of transmitted infections by the coronavirus. Because again, the whole thing with social distancing and everyone, trying to limit contact, so they can reduce the spread of this coronavirus. All right. And what better way to do that? By chipping everyone. You don't have to, when you go to the local store, you don't have to, um, swipe your credit card. You could just, swipe your hand, and it goes into a lot. All right. Um, just jump on down. You see that the depiction of the microchip. All right. Or it's not a depiction, rather, it is the microchip. All right. It says, like glorified smartwatches, the chips help Swedes monitor their health and even replace key cards to allow them to enter offices and buildings. And again, you don't have to. It's all, contactless. All right, because the narrative that they're pushing is, less contact, social distancing and whatnot, trying to fight the coronavirus. All right. It says they have particularly caught on, however, by enabling owners to pay in stores with a simple swipe of the hand, a big deal in a forward-looking country that is moving toward eliminating cash. So you see that it's no coincidence they have this whole corn shortage right now because, again, what you're seeing right now, what you're witnessing is it's a global reset. The new order agenda is being established. All right, they want to do away with the cash. All right. Long story short, they want to roll these chips. Roll out with these chips, and they want to chip everyone. All right. It says the microchips were pioneered by former body piercer Johan Osterlund, who calls the technology a moonshot, and who told Fortune magazine that he's been hit up by hopeful investors on every continent except Antarctica. So you see, because again, this is something that they already have it. Pretty much they already have it planned out. Everything's mapped out. They already have the stage set for it and everything. But now pretty much more so they just want to, do the media and the witchcraft and whatnot. They just want to get the people, ease the people into accepting this chip. All right, because the apostles, the elders, they always say, they always talk about how they're going to present it in a way that's convenient for everyone. Right. All your information is going to be in that chip. You're not going to have to worry about identity theft, which I believe they mentioned in this article. Concerns about, the data leaks and things like that. All right. You're not going to have to worry about any of that. If you take that chip, you're not going to have to worry about any of that stuff. Which, again, the mass majority of the people, they're going to flock to that because, the society, is a society based off basically, being lazy. Everything's, fast paced. All right. In and out, basically. All right. It says tech will move into the body, the Biohacks International founder told the mag. It says, I'm sure of that. Osterlund insists the technology is safe, but that has not stopped alarm bells from ringing, with some fearing a link to a doubling in cybercrime in the country over the last decade. Liberton, a British scientist based in Sweden, praised the definitely exciting potential health benefits of accurate health metrics taken from inside the body. Think if an Apple Watch could measure things like blood glucose. So you see, because what does it talk right now? This talks about, the healthcare industry and, a lot of healthcare patients and things like that. People with diabetes and, health issues and stuff like that, the whole coronavirus thing and just like that. So you saw he's been, basically been poisoning us for years now, and of course with his mindset, him being like the Most High, he causes the chaos so he can bring in the solution and ultimately, basically, this chip is going to fix everything. You can have bad health, people that are blind, can't walk, paralyzed, whatever the case may be, you take this chip, man, it's going to change everything. You have high debt, you take that chip, hey, we'll clear out all your debt. This is how they're going to get the people in a mass majority. All right, and again, this is already going on over there in Sweden, and this is why they're trying to model the world, after Sweden, as well as other places that are adapting this new way of life, basically. All right. It says, but he also fears the mass of highly personalized data and how it could be used. The problem is, who owns this data? He asked. Do I get a letter from my insurance company saying premiums are going up before I know I'm ill? If I use the chip to buy lunch, go to the gym, and go to work, will someone have all of this info about me? Is this stored in? Is it safe? Liberton added, it's not just about the chip, but integration with our systems and data sharing. He fears Swedes are not giving enough thought to the potential dangers. People have shown they're happy to give privacy for convenience, which is true. People are used to living comfortably. People are willing to compromise, um, their integrity for convenience, basically. You know, it says the chip is very convenient. So could we accept our data being shared very widely before we know the risk? The trend coincides with Sweden's march toward going cashless, with the notes and coins making up just 1% of Sweden's economy. At the same time, the country has seen a dramatic decrease in some crime. So you see that. You see how they try to push the narrative of crimes being decreased. With just 2 bank robberies last year compared to 110 in 2008. So you see, through this witchcraft, you know, they're going to convince a lot of people into taking this chip. Again, a lot of these different countries and nations, they're going to pick up on this. Pretty much, a lot of people are watching Sweden, how they're doing business, because as I read in the previous article, pretty much the epidemic over there is over. And like I said, you don't hear much about Sweden because they already have the mark of the beast, which is what the elites, that's what they want to do. Ultimately, they want to push this mark of the beast system, this beast system, these chips on everyone. All right. And this is why, with this whole pandemic, it's the perfect excuse to collapse the dollar and basically reset everything. Basically. All right. So, encourage people, to pay attention to what's going on over there in Sweden. They already have it set up to where, you can, people already have the chips, and they can, enter their cars. They can drive their cars and enter into buildings, vending machines, and all that. It's completely cashless over there. And this is what Esau, the top wicked elites, this is their goal. This is Revelations 13 and 16. It says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. This is what this is talking about. This chip, which again, in Sweden, they have already adapted this way of this way of living. Verse 17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or this name of the beast or the number of his name. So if you don't have that chip, you won't be able to function in society. And again, they're going to catch a lot of people through their deception, because this is going to be the new way of living. If you don't have that chip, you can't eat, you can't buy food, you can't do anything. And because this is a faithless society, a faithless land, people don't put their trust in Yahweh Shem Shai. They're going to take that chip with ease, because ultimately, Esau, he wants complete control. But it tells you in Revelations, the 18th chapter, 13th verse. Let me start at verse 10. It says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, which is aka America, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls, and of fine linen, and purple, and silk, and scarlet, and all fine wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. So you see, Esau, they pretty much have everything. They have all the riches of the world. And ultimately they want to get your soul. They want to capture your soul. They want complete dominance of your spirit. All right. And when you take that chip, that's ultimately what you're pledging your allegiance to Esau. You're accepting him as your God. All right. You're because selling your soul is a very real thing. And when you take that chip, that's the ultimate. Again, that's the ultimate slap in the face to Yahweh Shemir Shai. You're selling your soul over to Esau. You're accepting him as your God. Because taking that chip, you that's a way of that mark of the beast. That's a way of branding yourself as basically your cattle, and that's Esau's way of showing ownership over you. That he's got you. You belong to him. All right. And again, just sticking to the point, Sweden, they've already pretty much adopted this way of society, and this is what they want to push throughout the four corners of the earth. They want to push all over the globe. Esau wants complete control over everyone's spirit, everyone's soul. All right, but Yahweh Ratzah, say the hell with that chip, because when it comes to the elect, they're not going to take that chip because they belong to Yahweh Shemir Shai. So this is what's coming to a city in the street near you. These chips. It's going to be convenient for everyone. All right. But beware, if you take that chip, go ahead and end it off on this. If you take that chip, Revelation 14, it's like, I think it's 15. Or 16, excuse me. Revelation 16. Hold up. For those that take the mark of the beast, right. Revelation 14. Starting at verse 9, it says, "And the third angel followed." This is for those who take the mark of the beast, which is that chip. Revelations 14:9, it says, "And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in their right hand." So if you take that chip, any part of it, any part of your body, because notice, in Revelations 13:16, it says, taking that mark of the beast in your right hand on your forehead. But here it says, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, because that's pretty much going to be the most common place that's it's going to be taken, in the hand or in the forehead. You got a lot of talk with this guy Elon Musk, with the implantable brain chip, right? And this guy, what's this guy's name? Bill Gates. It's like this guy, he's promoting, Bill Gates is promoting, the chip in the hand, and this guy Elon Musk, he's promoting the chip in the brain. But either way, if you take that chip, either way, this is what's going to happen to you. Verse 10, it says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. All right, so if you take that chip, ultimately you're going to catch the full wrath of Yahweh Shemir Shai with no mercy given to you. All right, so with that being said, once again, giving all acknowledgement and all credit to Yahweh Shemir Shai, double honors, much respect to my teachers in whom I learned this truth from, beginning with the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone. Until next time, Shalom.